Welcome, bounty hunters and Star Wars fans alike. It is I, the Tuscan Toast, and with me, as always, is the charismatic Carillion. And it is All Fetts Are Off on a special Saturday edition. And the reason that we're here on a Saturday is because what happened yesterday, Brian?
Well, hello there. The single largest, most anticipated Disney Plus project to date aired early on Thursday.
Yes, it did.
They went ahead and did a screening for all those that were at Star Wars Celebration. They did a screening for those there at 7:00, and then they dropped the bomb and went ahead and put a tweet out. Hey, we're going to go from 2 a.m. Pacific to midnight, 11 o'clock Pacific. So they, or midnight Pacific rather, which was 11 o'clock or 10, probably, no, that was another, yeah, it was midnight Central Time. Midnight Central Time.
Yeah, because we got it, I think we got it like at somewhere around 2, but I mean, here on the East Coast, but okay, whatever. It dropped, and the first 2 episodes dropped. It did. Now,
2 episodes, 2.
Yes, 2. So it has been 24 hours, and we have a very, very, very strict and hard rule that we give everybody 24 hours before we start talking about something and giving spoilers. So it has been 24 hours, and I have seen
24 hours,
and I have seen both episodes. Believe it or not,
good.
I have seen both episodes.
Wow.
Yes, I saw them.
That's a landmark. That's a landmark day in
this is a red letter day because that never happens. But I did see it. I saw it today. I saw it this morning. I saw them both, and I do have opinions, and I will talk about those. But this is what I've been waiting for a really long time, Brian. You being the resident expert about everything Star Wars, and I simply being your Padawan there. I really want to know, after all this time, after Episode 3 releasing in 2003, and us not being able to see Ewan McGregor play the iconic Obi Wan Kenobi since then.
It was actually 2005. 2005.
Oh, sorry, 2005. I'm sorry, it was not 2003, 2005. What are your initial thoughts from these 2 episodes that we got?
There's so much to unpack from this. I don't even know like where to start. If you're like OG or if you're prequel, I mean, you were a happy camper over the last 24 hours. It shot out right out the gate with the long time ago font. It was that traditional blue font, the traditional message we've seen at the beginning of the films, and that was really like a nice kind of tease. Because at first I thought, wow, like, are they going to do a crawl? I mean, that's what I thought. That was my initial reaction. Like, is there going to be a crawl? I'm like, they can't possibly do a crawl because this is a series, not a feature. But I think the reason Deborah Chow went that direction was because this initially was going to be a feature film before they went ahead and decided to go Disney Plus series on it. So I think that was just a nice little homage to the fans, but also acknowledging at one point this was going to be a film. So it starts out with that, but then it goes into like this recap of Phantom Menace to Revenge of the Sith. You get like, it tells you that there's a recap going on, and you get pretty much all the highlights from Obi Wan and Anakin's time together from when he's a boy on Tatooine and Obi Wan meets him for the first time with Qui-Gon, all the way through Attack of the Clones and then their fateful duel on Mustafar in Episode 3. It shoots out the gate that way. Then once the intro's done or the recap is done, then you're taken to Coruscant and you're seeing part of Order 66 being executed. You see as of now, unidentified Jedi Master. We don't know who it was, but that Jedi Master is on the tower with Padawans, and then you see clone troopers bust in, and they're executing 66. And, I mean, she puts up a hell of a fight. I mean, considering it was just her, she takes out about 6 to 8 clonies trying to get the Padawans to safety until she's gunned down.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, it seems as if those Padawans survive. Initially, it's not really shown whether they get out or not. That was a great start.
Yeah, it really was, and you know, I have to say that it started just the way I expected it to. It didn't, nothing really surprised me from the very first episode. If we're just talking about just that first one. I watched it, and it was just kind of like your boilerplate, like, okay, this is how long it's been, this is where they are now, this is what's going on. So you know, you see Obi Wan as you kind of depicted him to be, and how he lived his life, you know, between what the events happened in the end of episode 3 and then episode 4, and then of course we've had a lot of stuff that happened in between there. So you know, you see him still living on Tatooine and looking over Luke, and seeing certain things, and then he's working, and he's kind of a shell of what he used to be. He looks very depressed. He's not saying much, and it's just the basic storytelling of this is where we're at right now. But did you see anything? And just speaking from the first episode, did you see anything big from that one that you were not expecting?
From an expectation standpoint, I can't really say that there was a big surprise. I think those came in the second episode.
Yes, absolutely.
It was really like a joy to get a closer look at Alderaan. I mean, just to get a look at the capital city and a lot more of that environment. Seeing Leia 10 years old, seeing a more involved role of Bail Organa's wife. That was a treat. I mean, all we knew of Alderaan before the prequels, because you get a good shot of Alderaan in Revenge of the Sith, right?
Right.
But it's really just momentary. You're not really on the ground floor in Alderaan in that moment. You're just getting a shot of the Tantive 4 with Bail Organa on it in Revenge of the Sith.
And I am glad that they were able to bring back Jimmy Smits, you know, representing the Mexicanos, you know, in Star Wars.
It was critical that they brought him back. I mean, they brought him back. They brought back who played his spouse. They brought back who played Owen and Beru, which incidentally, I don't know the actor's name. Shame on me. That's playing Owen. But that guy.
Yeah. He's been in several movies. He was in Zero Dark 30. He was one of the Navy SEALs. It's Joel Edgerton is who plays.
Well,
yeah.
He's completely elevated his game, because the sequence that takes place when he confronts Obi-Wan
right before the Inquisitors show up,
after Obi-Wan delivers that T-16 Skyhopper toy, after he leaves that at the homestead that night, the following day when Owen confronts him, this Egerton has completely embodied the Owen from A New Hope. I mean, just his tone, his mannerisms. When he looks at Obi-Wan and tells him, "You don't care if he's okay. You only care if he's showing."
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
And then I had to think about that for a second. I was like, "Showing? A little young for that."
It nailed. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, hey, that's on Disney. That's not on me, dude. That's not on me. My mind. You know my mind's in the gutter.
It completely was dead on to the tone that Owen had in A New Hope. It was the scruffy voice was all there.
Mm-hmm.
It was all there. And then when Reva confronts him, and he tells Reva, "I have no love for the Jedi. Jedi vermin. I kill vermin on my farm."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had the whole package. Just, you know, he's bitter. He's upset. He feels that he's been thrust into this galactic conflict that he wants no part of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thrust into it because Obi Wan took Luke there. He has a vested interest in Luke, with Luke being his step nephew, right? Or his, not step nephew, but his half nephew.
Half nephew. Yeah.
I mean,
mm-hmm.
he has a vested interest there to care for him, and that, you know, he's his last blood relative out there that can take care of him. I mean, he's going to do it for that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still pretty upset that, like, his whole way of life has just been turned upside down because of this responsibility that, you know, and he obviously has a lot of angst towards Obi-Wan for this, probably even blaming Obi-Wan for not being able to save Anakin.
Yeah, and we knew all this. I mean, we knew his attitude, and we knew what it was going to be. Especially, I mean, just from episode 4, we knew at the very beginning the way Lars was talking to Luke, when his interest was to join the Imperial Academy and to wanting to get off of Tatooine, and we know that, and Edgerton was able to, yes, definitely embody that character, which is great. It adds a lot of continuity to it, and bridges the gap, you know, between what happened, you know, at the end of episode 3 and episode 4, since it was, you know, quite a long time. We know this is 10 years later. We know for a fact that this is 10 years later because the Inquisitors are talking and saying, you've been searching for Obi-Wan for 10 years. Great. We know this has been, well, at least 10 years. It's been going, this is at least 10 years. So, you know, we do all this boilerplate stuff on Tatooine, and we see Obi-Wan's mannerisms and character completely 100% opposite of what we have seen his character to be in Clone Wars and to be in the prequels, where he's just this tough badass, and he's going out there and he's like, you know, God Jedi, and fighting for the Republic and what he believes in. He has lost all of that. He embodies that stoic nature that Luke Skywalker had in episode 7 when he came back to play the game.
Yes.
So the exact same thing happened to Luke Skywalker.
More like episode 8.
I'm sorry, episode 8. Yeah, at episode 8.
Yeah.
So he's very stoic, and even getting to the part. This is where I really saw the definite change, is when Bail Organa is asking for his help when Leia gets kidnapped, and
he tells him no.
And he tells him no, get someone else. I can't do it. I know I'm not the same person anymore. And he says it with a very empty look in his face. And I'm like, man, this is not the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan that I am used to. Even going into the second episode of this series, there's pieces of it showing, but it's still a person that very much doubts himself, his abilities, his ability to make decisions. He takes a lot of the blame of what happened to Anakin Skywalker on him. He didn't even know that he was still alive until it was mentioned, you know, later on towards the end of episode 2. So with that, I mean, I'm just interested to see what happens in episode 3. I think what I'm going to see here is throughout the series is you're going to see Obi-Wan, you know, slowly building up to what he used to be, and then finally having that confidence again and knowing what he has to do leading up to the events that happened in episode 4 and when him and Vader meet again in the Death Star. So it's going to be this build-up, but it's going to be interesting to see just how it goes and who really influences him, because right now I'm thinking that it's a young Leia that's influencing him, because whoever this actress is 100% acting like a Princess Leia. It's nuts. It's just nuts. Very much like a Princess Leia and a little bit of
also
a Queen Amidala.
Like as well.
Yeah, a Queen Amidala.
She's embodying both Padme and, I mean, doing a great job.
Yeah, it's just great.
The other factor that we have to look at is we got a new character in town that's getting developed. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't like this. They feel the character's already being overly whiny and trying too hard and things of that nature. But regardless of the
You're talking about Riva, right?
Regardless of the title of the show and regardless of the star power, Deborah Chow's made it pretty much apparent, and she's made it fairly clear that Riva is going to have some influence in the show. And where I unpack the influence coming from is some of the things that she states in the first episode are the fifth brother asks her, "What is it you're looking for out of capturing Kenobi?" Mm-hmm. And she just looks at him, "What I'm owed." I mean, wow, like, what's that? Like,
yeah,
you can't help but just ask yourself, what is she owed? Like,
yeah. Well, so I since I don't know much about the Clone Wars series and
she's not in them.
Okay, so she's not in them. Okay.
No.
Got it. All right.
It's all new stuff.
Because I know about the Inquisitors.
We don't know what this I'm owed thing is. We don't know what this grudge is that she has with Kenobi, because there's an obvious grudge there. I mean, part of me wonders, could she have been one of the Padawans that barely escaped Order 66, and now she's upset. The age barely gets there. I mean, if she was 10 or 11 years old, she'd be about 20 or 21 now.
Yeah. So that's
she seems that it could pull it off age-wise.
That's pretty good.
She looks to be between 20 and 25.
Yeah, that's
where she looks to be.
That's a pretty good prediction there. Now,
so I mean, if she was one of the Padawans that barely got out with a hair on her, well, I'm not going to go all the way with that, but like if she barely gets out with the scrape of her inch of her life, mm-hmm. could she be upset at Kenobi for having allowed this to happen to the Jedi, the Order 66, and does she hold him partly culpable for what happened to Anakin? And that's where could that be a thing? I mean,
it's up in the air. I mean, but there is ties.
We need to see more development to see what this is. We need to see it. I mean, I know the community is not happy with this character. They're not. They're immediately giving her the Rey treatment right now that Rey got from the sequels. Which, am I surprised? I mean, the sequel haters upset by another female character. Oh, well, what a shock!
Well, I
want to know.
I don't mind the character. I think it's interesting, and I think that there's closer ties with her character with Riva and Darth Vader than what she initially stated. She says, "I'm going to take you to Lord Vader. I'm going to take you straight to him."
Right, and indicating that she and Vader have already been in some type of communication for some period of time.
Right. I think there's something closer. There's some closer ties there than simply being dispatched to kill Jedi. I think that's what.
During most of that first episode, she keeps saying we're here for something more. Why are we? She's telling the Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother, and she's telling them all, what are we doing with these peon little missions, chasing leftover scrap Jedi that mean nothing? Like. Yeah. She feels that there's something greater in the grand scheme, which could that be a thing with influence from Vader? Sure, it could be. But we need this developed. We need to know more. We need to see more. I want to see more. I'm pretty sure Deborah Chow, as much as she set this up from the first episode, I seriously doubt, just out of fan complaints, that she's going to drop this. No.
There's no reason to.
We need to know more. About Riva. We need to understand more about Riva. That's, I mean, it is the Kenobi show. Hayden Christensen and Aaron McGregor have the star power. I'm not saying that that's, but there is this new Inquisitor character on the horizon now, and we need to find out more. My curiosity's already been amped up. I want to know more.
Well, so do I. So they're going to drop the next one on next Thursday, right? Or this upcoming Thursday?
You know what? I don't know now, because now that they do this early Thursday thing, they've completely upended my clock. I mean, when Disney first started, Disney Plus, it was always Fridays, right? Friday. Mm-hmm. Everything was Friday, so you were accustomed to 2 a.m. Thursday. Then Loki came around. They're like, oh, hang on, we're gonna do Wednesdays. So then it was like Wednesday, and then 2 a.m. Tuesday. You know, so they initially said that Kenobi would be Wednesday. They did say that. Then they said, you know what, we're gonna move it to Friday with 2 shows. Then they put it out 11 p.m. Thursday. So yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing anymore.
Yeah. So let's see. Here, according to Wikipedia,
There should be the date should be out for all the
yeah.
dates
So
for the episodes were posted.
So now you're looking at now you're looking at Wednesday for part 3, June 1st.
Better.
You're looking at,
That's fine by me. Short turnaround.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take that.
But and then so you're looking at Wednesdays. So you got June 1st is the next one, and then the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and then that's it because that's part 6. So yeah. So you're looking at all of Kenobi at the end of June, lasting no longer than June.
This is gonna fly by us quicker than a pod racer on Bunta.
I'm gonna take your word for it that that's pretty fast. So because
it's pretty fast.
Okay, so it's pretty fast. So
faster than Sebulba.
Okay, all right. Now I understand that. I got that one because I saw episode 1 a few times. So, you know, when did I mention this? That I had some love for episode 8 after I watched it again. Did I just tell? Yeah.
I mean, how can you not draw the comparison to age bitter Obi Wan to age bitter Luke?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely.
I'm glad I did go back and see it because now this is starting to connect a little bit, and I'm sure it's done. It's done on purpose. This is by some grand design on there, so that's good. I'm glad. So,
I want to talk a little bit about the major mind screw that Deborah Chow put on all of us in the second episode. Do you think we've talked enough about the first episode, or do we need to?
Yeah,
is there anything we left out?
Nah. Second episode is all
about the only thing we left out, I think, was when he went to the desert to go find his saber.
Oh, and he had Anakin's old lightsaber.
Immediately, I shouted out, "There's gonna be 2 sabers in that box." I was like, "There's not gonna be just 1 saber, and there's gonna be 2 sabers in there."
Yep.
So that was cool. That definitely kept consistency with.
And hold on, before you go over to the second episode, I want to ask. I had some confusion from episode 7 when what's that character's name that wore the big goggles and had Luke's old lightsaber. What was her name?
Oh,
well,
Maz Kanata.
There you go. So Maz Kanata. She said that it was a story for another time how she got that lightsaber. Do we know that story? Has it been released? Am I missing something?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, they better come back to that because it's starting to turn into that whole Scythe of Diaz thing, and I don't like that. They got to give me some answers pretty soon because that movie came out about a hot minute ago. So
yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. I just needed to clear that up while I had that fresh in my head. Okay. So second episode.
So I mean, as we get to the second episode, he's going to Dayu, right? And
right.
Dayu is this clinky, danky, sewagey, rundown city, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was this total mind screw at the beginning of the episode as Obi-Wan's getting off the transport and he's looking at some of the locals and he looks at the person that's cooking and then he looks at some others. And then in the background, you see this person lying down in a cloak, and it's obvious he's got trooper armor on, right? Because you see the white and the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I start thinking immediately, oh my God, it's Rex. I was just like, it's Rex. And then when you see him hold up the helmet and he says, "Spare the credits," I was like, it's Rex. It's Rex. I started screaming, it's Rex, it's Rex, it's Rex. I started going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out, no.
Not Rex.
Not Rex. It's just a starved homeless clone. Like that's all it is. Which that was agonizing and great all at once because I so wanted it to be Rex.
Uh-huh.
But then you also realize the toll that the Clone Wars took, and now you have these clone troopers that manage to avoid being destroyed, and they're just now homeless and wandering and hungry,
I
and they're
gotta
just
I gotta tell you though, Tamir
it
Morrison.
humanized everything all so quickly.
It did, and Tamir Morrison is really getting some work because of the revival of all these things. So that's
Yeah,
great. That's great. But that kind of hit me. That hit me in the feels a little bit, and the reason it did is because I know I haven't seen every single episode of Clone Wars. I've seen some, but I understand the relationship between Kenobi as a general and a and his relationship with them in the prequels too. And it seemed like it was a relationship of trust and mutual respect, and to see to kind of to see the end of all that wrapped up into just one clone with a beard and homeless and begging for credits. It's like, ouch. Like that's it. That's the remnants of everything that we have seen about clones and about the Clone Wars and every other character to include Bad Batch that has been involved in all this. It's just kind of wrapped up into just one little thing right there as of today, and it's like, ouch, man. It's that whole culture has been relegated to that. So it hit me in the feels a little bit. I don't get too emotional about Star Wars, not like you do, anyways.
we we
But
have we have one viewer right now that feels it was Rex. I'm not sure who chimed in because all I saw was Facebook user, but if I don't know if you're on your end, if you can see which listener commented.
it's well, no, it just says Facebook user, but it says Misa thinks it's Rex. So you know what I say to that?
God, what am I saying?
Just because you hate it, and I love you for it. So
I,
that's owed one Jar Jar. And it could be because Obi Wan was really looking at him. He was like, "Who is that?" So maybe it was, and maybe he recognized him and couldn't say or do anything. So
I have my doubts on the Rex issue because my doubts stem from Rex wouldn't be in that spot.
mm-hmm.
He'd still be out there functioning, doing something. Rex wouldn't just
I
sit
don't
on his
know.
laurels and
I don't know.
like.
You haven't met many
Well,
retired Marines, have you?
well, no, but when you look at the Clone
No
Wars
beard.
series,
Uh huh.
when you look at the Clone Wars series and the Rebel series, while Rebels mainly, when you look at the Rebel series and they come across Rex again, I mean, he has a beard, but he was still very functional, and he
Mm-hmm.
was with Wolf. So I just have my doubts that it was Rex. I forget doubts.
Mm-hmm.
I know it wasn't Rex. Do I think we're going to see Rex and other clones? Yes. The main one I think we're going to see is Commander Cody.
I would hope so. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a must.
Mm-hmm.
I like the whole deal in the second episode of the person that was impersonating a Jedi.
Oh
And
yeah, that's
that
his name is. Hold on, I got his name. I had it right here. Cause I loved him in the Eternals, even though that wasn't the best movie ever. His name is Kumail Nanjiani. So
that sequence was just great because
yeah,
now you see that the Jedi Order has just been regulated down to
a joke.
stories
Yeah.
and people that are using their reputation to profit for personal gain. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's pretty much where the Jedi Order has come to now. So that was cool to see in that respect. And then you find out that, yeah, I mean, he is scamming to make a living, but he was genuinely a good guy, though.
Yeah, he was. Well, towards the end, you saw that he was by helping
Yeah,
Princess
he
Leia
had a
and
heart,
Kenobi get out.
and
Yeah,
he wanted to try and make it right.
that
And
was that.
he
That
risked
was
his life to do it.
yeah.
So you don't get much honorable than that.
No. And by the way, that was I think Robert, your friend, who asked that question about or
Okay.
says it thinks it's Rex. So yeah, I really like this actor because he got super ripped, for the Eternals. The last time I really saw him and paid attention to him was in that show Silicon Valley, on, I think it's on HBO, yeah, where he plays, just a, computer nerd that, develops an app and is in there, and he's plays a nerdy guy, and then I see him in this movie and he's super ripped, and I'm like, dude, how did you get that way, like, so fast? But Silicon Valley was, a few years ago, and I was like, you could have gotten that way so fast. But he admitted, he was like, I want to thank the Marvel Studios and their personal trainers to get me looking like this, because I could have never done it on my own. And I was like, okay, cool. At least you admit that you got some help. So cool. But yeah, I like that actor, and seeing him was pretty funny, and added a good piece of humor, light, subtle humor that needed to be in Obi Wan, instead of it being so stoic and serious all the time. So I think it's great. But Brian, if you don't mind, real quick, I kind of want to make a little bit of a little bit of an announcement. So we've been doing this show for, is it almost 3 years now, I think, on and off. Yeah, so we've been doing this for a little while. We just do it for fun. We don't monetize. We don't take any. I mean, we don't really do much except have our sponsors with Bad Customs and Pharaoh's Designs. But that's really more of like a friendship, and we promote each other because we like what we do. We like what each other does. So there's no money exchange. Bad Customs was nice enough to make those shirts for us, and those are great, and love them. So I've kind of formalized what I'm doing, right, as far as entertainment goes, and I have developed a company. It's called J2 Sports and Entertainment LLC. So this is a partnership with a good friend of mine. His name is Coach Jerry Presvot. And we coach together here in the city of Doral in their youth league, in the basketballs. Because, you're aware I do that with the flag football and basketball. So we've been doing that together for 2 years. And so what he's started doing is training, some of these young kids personally to get them ready for high school basketball, or just to, learn basketball and get better at it. So we kind of combined our forces and our goals, and we created J2 Sports and Entertainment. And I just kind of want to show you, this is the shirt. His program is called Young Star Rising Hoopers, and he works with these kids almost every day, and it's so fun to watch, because he's super motivated, and to see someone with that much passion is incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share the website just to give everybody a quick view. It's a shameless plug, because everything I do is self-serving anyways. So this is it right here. We actually are going to do a summer skills program, and we had a price there, and we brought it down and we lowered it. But I just kind of want to show everybody, what it is and what we do. So we're going to incorporate an adult fitness program probably in the later part of August, and that will be ran mostly by me. This Young Stars Rising Hoopers is ran and started by Jerry here. So what's so great about this is that we actually have certifications and credentials. So we are registered with Junior NBA. We are credentialed and registered through the Amateur Athletic Union. We are USA Basketball certified coaches. We've gone through all the training, and we are registered with the NCAA. So we have a wealth of knowledge and experience in playing and coaching basketball, but now we have the credentials also to back this up. So we want to ensure that everybody is all the youth athletes are safe, and they are being trained by the absolute best, and that's what we strive to be. So with this, the Summer Skills Academy that we're going to do, it's going to be great. So we're going to do it Monday through Thursday, starting after the school year ends here, most likely June 13th. And we're going to go from 3 to 6, and we're going to do skills and 3-on-3 basketball games, and we're going to give these kids a really great experience daily. And we got some great rates. So early bird weekly pricing is $100 for a week, and you can get that now through the end of the 31st. And then the regular price is $125 a week. But I mean, we urge anybody to call us for a daily rate. If they want to do the full 3 weeks, we're gonna give them a special rate. Of course, being military, I will always honor and give military and first responders discounts. And I mean, we want to be able to do this for everybody, regardless of what your income is. I mean, call us. We will work something out. But this is what we got going on. And Brian, I'm just super excited to share this with you because under the umbrella of J2 Sports and Entertainment, I want to roll in our All Fetts Are Off and the cheap seats and actually make this an actual formal thing where we can get more exposure and we can reach more people and make bigger partnerships and talk with more Star Wars fans, because I feel that as big of a fan as you are and as huge of a collector as you are, I think that we can definitely expand and meet people just like you, and then people just like me, which there aren't many, and we could really get into the depths of this fantastic and awesome franchise and universe that we love so much. So I wanted to share this with you and with our viewers and our millions and millions of people who watch. This is it. It's j2coaches.com. You can go to it and check it out. You can contact us. You can just send us a quick email. You just have some information. You can book hourly with Coach Jerry, and you can check out a little bit more about us here in the About Us. You can see about Coach Jerry and myself. He is the Director of Youth Sports and Talent Management. I am the Director of Adult Fitness and Business Operations. But with that, cousin, I will go back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Well, very cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad to share. Yeah, I'm really glad to share it with you. Because people don't know too much about this, but you and I have a big sports enthusiast side. With the Cheap Seat show that we got to get back up, and we just talked about this earlier today with Brad, that we're gonna do a fantasy football league, and we're gonna make this a more competitive. We have competitive natures, the three of us, and I think incorporating that into fantasy football is gonna be great. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. I can't wait. I really can't wait. We'll talk about the rules, as we couldn't agree on them earlier this morning, but we'll talk about that later on. But I think it's great. I think it's great for our show and what we do, and the small fan base that we have. I think rolling all this into an actual company, which it is an actual company. I got a tax ID number and everything. I'm registered with the state of Florida as a limited liability corporation. So it's great, man. And I love having you aboard. I love having Brad aboard. This is just great. And what we do here, and we chat when we get the time to do it, is so fun, man. I mean, being so far away, it's hard to stay in touch with family, but man, I have I get such a kick out of it, and getting you pissed off when I do stuff like this,
God, what the Misa saying?
Is that the only soundbite you have on that damn?
No, I do have this one. No, I have more.
Very, very bad.
I got that one.
Well,
yeah.
That smells stinker with.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
I have others when it.
Yeah, I thought you did, but I mean, we just never hear them. So.
Well, then I have this one because I'm cool and charismatic. Yeah. So those are more for the night shows when it's more intimate, baby. So. But Brian, I wish I had more time to talk today, and I'm really glad that we were able to take this Saturday afternoon and get to talk about Obi Wan. We got a busy June. We really got a busy June, and we'll see when we can go on next. Hopefully, maybe we can do something as soon as the 24-hour mark hits next Wednesday. Let's look at our schedules. Nice. Yeah, let's look at our schedules and put something out there. And the great thing about having my own website here is, I can post things on here too, and just keep it under a separate banner. So,
nice.
But yeah, man, you got any parting thoughts on Obi Wan or the future before we sign off?
Just there are a couple big things that concluded the second episode that I think leave a lot on the table. First, the fact that they picked Reva to be the one to reveal to Obi Wan that Vader is among the living. He Obi Wan did not know that Anakin survived Mustafar, and Reva turns out to be the chosen one to give him this revelation. But the bigger controversy right now that's going to dominate threads and everything else is the Grand Inquisitor. So Reva impales the Grand Inquisitor.
Yep.
And that's a bit of an issue because the Grand Inquisitor is alive and kicking in Star Wars Rebel, which is 5 years after this.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So either there's only one of two possibilities. Either this is not the same Grand Inquisitor, which is highly unlikely because he looks just like the other one.
Mm-hmm.
They're even of the same species.
Yep.
Or he's not dead. Those are your two options right now. Mm-hmm. So just chew on that until as this series continues to unfold.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm excited. I'm excited. I mean, the first episode was exactly what I expected. Was it a little slow? Yes, but it's supposed to be. It really is. It's supposed to get you emotionally ready and invested in these characters, and it did that, and it did just that. So what's coming up in the horizon is going to be great. All right, I'm glad now I have up until Wednesday, or actually maybe Thursday, for me to see it because Stranger Things came out, and I got to binge that. Obligatory.
No,
Obligatory.
No,
got to.
No, you don't have to. No, you don't. No.
Yeah.
You can just stay with Kenobi.
I mean, there's nothing for me else, something for me to do right now. I can't watch it right now.
No. You don't need to give Stranger Things any streams. No, you don't need to give them any streams.
Oh, okay, what if I download it illegally then? Would that make you happy?
That's
if
fine.
I didn't log on?
You can do that.
Okay. Oh, you're okay. Yeah, that's right. You got that thing about Netflix. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. No, it makes sense. Well, don't worry. I use a VPN.
Hey, does part of me want Kenobi to crush Stranger Things in streams this week? Yes. Sure.
I think it will. I mean, this is Obi Wan Kenobi, dude. This is not just some regular brand new show. This is Obi Wan Kenobi, and I'm really interested to see what kind of. I don't know if they do I don't know if Disney releases their streaming numbers. I don't know. There's one streaming service that doesn't release their streaming numbers, and I think it's Netflix. I don't know for sure. I'll double check. But okay. So we'll look at our schedules. We'll get the word out earlier than what we did today, when we can talk more about it. But we got a busy June. We got a busy June. So, well, anyways, cousin, we will chat soon. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. And to all of my military brothers and sisters out there, and to those who have fallen, I honor you, and I only hope that I am a good representation of that community as a retiree. Thanks, Brian. Tell the princess I said hello, and we haven't yub-nub out of here in a while, so let me find it, and we can yub-nub out of here. You ready?
All right, let's yub-nub out of here.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Yub-nub!